Welcome back to Let's Play Pokemon Violet Blind. I always have to do that at the start to make sure that I can get it in sync, and just start the damn game. I literally, clicked on it to just test. It's like, I might as well get the update thing out of the way before recording. And it just said, select user. It didn't say anything about the update. And of course, once I start recording, that's where it's like, oh yeah, that update. You're gonna do that? It's like, I was gonna do that before recording, but you didn't show the update until I was recording, you stupid software. Ugh. And then it'd be like, you have to sign in because you're not signed in. And I'd be like, ugh. Tedious process doing that again. I hate that about, modern technology. Constantly having to sign in for crap. And then you get cases where you stay signed in, and then when you eventually end up having to sign back in again, you're like, ah, crap, I don't remember the details. So you have to reset it. But worst case scenario, the email that's all linked to, you don't have access to anymore. And you're like, well, crap. So, actually, which direction is... I think it would be up north, wouldn't it? No? Oh. It's over there. Okay, so head east. Wait, this is east. I'm already facing east. It's just because the, map compass thing doesn't really change direction, so it can be a bit jarring at times. It's a Diglett. What are you? You're just Tera Diglett. I've already got one of those. I mean, granted, not all of them are the same, because the whole point of it is it's just a, Pokemon that happens to have a different typing in Terraform. And now we actually have the ability to change that ourselves, provided we've got enough shards. It's like a freaking Disney castle from a distance with this lighting. It's a magical place. The magicalness of consumerism. How come we can climb these walls? How does that make sense? We can't climb, when we're inside. But, here we can perfectly climb this, just perfectly fine. But when we're inside the city, we can no longer climb on buildings. I guess Miraidon's like, ah shit, there's people around. But then, there's NPCs out there somewhere. I'm pretty sure there was like some guy standing out by the entrance that you battle. He totally saw you climbing that wall, man. So it's like, if not for that, I wouldn't have actually noticed until just now that there's actually a kind of well, yeah. There's a bridge that goes in, but the bridge is got an interior that we don't actually see. Which, to be fair, is basically the majority of buildings in this game. We don't see the interior. The interior designer was absent on this game for the most part. Are my Pokemon all healed? To the academy that we cannot climb. See? How come we're not allowed up there? When we're inside the towns and cities, we can't climb on buildings. But when we're on the very outskirts, it's allowed. And if you like glide into the city to try to get on one of these buildings, you automatically get teleported down here. It's bullshit. You'll never get to go up there. Unless there's some kind of glitch that you can do, but I have no idea how that works. I wonder if there's... no? Well, obviously this part of the area would be accessible normally, but there doesn't seem to be anyone around here, which is making me kind of wonder now. Well, it's obviously accessible because there's a Pokeball over here. But how come nobody's around these parts then? Like, I wonder which windows are for what class here. What's the big one up there? And what's the treehouse one? What's that building for? This is clearly why this isn't accessible. It's because they've freaking... for whatever reason decided, let's put some bushes blocking off this path. And I don't think there's any doors going into the building from this side for some reason. So why even have this area out here? It's inaccessible unless you jump over a bush. That's some really weird design choice on the Academy's part. Why would you do that? So hey, did you know there's like a full-on part of nothing back there, basically? It's just the same as the front, it's just kind of empty. It's got a Pokeball there, though. I guess this could be a good place to go if you want some peace and quiet. Righto. Good evening, Miss Emily B. Biology. Is this our last biology class or not? Hello, hello. I hope everyone's ready to learn some new things today. Next time we meet, okay, they aren't all the final ones then. Next time we'll meet, we'll have our final exam. That means today is our last actual class. And the topic for this last class will be Pokemon forms. You can just think of forms as the shapes or appearances that Pokemon have. There's also a phenomenon called a form change, where Pokemon's appearance changes under certain conditions. Cyclizer, for example, which we regularly ride on as transportation here in Paldeer, has 3 forms that I'm not aware of at all because, despite having caught a Cyclizer, I've not actually used it. I mean, Miraidon's technically Cyclizer from the future, so, you know, that could be a different form. I mean, that's the thing, Miraidon has at least 2 forms, you know? Its ride form and its battle form. First is its basic form where it walks on all 4 legs. Second is its battle form where it stands on hind legs to engage in battle. Finally, there's its ride form where it inflates its fruit sack and its tail so we can ride on its back. Though we can use something you're all carrying with you now as an even better example. Yep, I'm talking about your phone. Some smartphones are inhabited by a certain Pokemon. Does anyone know the Pokemon I'm referring to? It's a Pikachu, it's a Heracross. Can you imagine someone answering? It's like, what gave you the impression that there's a Heracross in your phone? It's like, well, you know, Heracross is a bug, and I thought, you know, it was kind of play on words, you know, it's like some kind of bug that, you know, was infected the fountain, but no, it's a Rotom. How long has Rotom been inhabiting technology in these games? He was there in Sun and Moon, you know, being like, I'm gonna take over the Pokedex. Now he's taking over your phone, he's gonna take over your house next. You're a regular expert on Pokemon and technology, aren't you, MVP? The Pokemon inside your smartphone is Rotom, and it does all sorts of things to help you out. A Rotom inside a Rotom phone is Swiftle, so it doesn't try to enter all electronics. So, if you think about it, Namota's father is like the CEO or whatever of this Rotom phone company, so you tell me this company powers their phones on a Pokemon. Is that ethical? It's like, well, if you get into that, you know, have to question the ethics of Pokemon in general. I mean, why do we use them for battles all the time? Our ordinary Rotom, however, can change form by entering washing machines, microwave ovens. We use them for all kinds of slave labor. Did I say slave labor? I meant just labor in general. We pay them with experience. They love their job, you see. They're having fun. It's not like we're forcing them to do it. And all electronic appliances. Rotom is a bit of an exception though. Many Pokemon that change form do so simply by holding an item or by having one used on them. It's like, think about it, man. Back in the day, in the real world, you had frickin' ridiculous systems like a frickin' dog on a frickin' hamster wheel like thing. The power shit and all that. He's like, don't give me all of your epic shit because all that's like, yeah, but that was the past. We don't do that anymore. It's like, yeah, but fuck you. Probably still have some unethical animal shit going on. He's like, well, what about, you know, dogs fighting and stuff like that? It's like, yeah, but that's illegal. Yeah, but it still happens, isn't it? Oricorio, for example, has 4 different forms it can change between when given certain nectars. Pokemon may even change type or learn different moves when they change form. So I guess that's how you'd get it to change form in this game, because in Sun and Moon, which I'm pretty sure that's where that Pokemon first appeared, you'd find it in different areas and it would have a different form. So I guess giving it a different nectar changes its form, but how do we get these nectars? I probably picked up these nectars without even noticing. It's like I just pick up stuff off the ground, and, you know, sometimes I pay attention to what well, I do, usually. I haven't really noticed any nectar, so we probably get them from battles or something. I don't know. Anyways, Pokemon may even change type or learn different moves when they change form. Form changes are different from evolution in that the Pokemon can return to its original form. And unlike shiny Pokemon, which can't change their special coloration, the same individual Pokemon can go back and forth between its forms. It's basically Digimon, but we were late to the party on that one. Digimon did it first. Although, thinking about it, you know, Digimon, video game-wise at the very least, is all over the place. But you know, the anime came out around about the same time as the first game on PS1, Digimon World. And in the anime, you know, they'd always revert back to rookie level. Or, you know, if they really overexert themselves in a battle, they'd go back to in-training baby form. But, you know, essentially Digimon did it first. But, you know, in the original Digimon world, your Digimon would, you know, evolve until eventually it dies and gets reincarnated with some of its stats passing over and all that inherited. And it would start from in training, and you'd start all over and over and over and over and over. It couldn't go back to a previous form. And I'm not sure when they introduced the idea where you could actually Digivolve forward and then de-Digivolve backwards, because later games do have that. But anyways, can you imagine if you could do that? It's like, you know what? I've evolved my Dragonair into Dragonite, but Dragonite looks too goofy. I want my Dragonair back, and you could just de-evolve it back to a Dragonair. Bonus if you get to keep the stats, but that's not even a thing in Digimon. I'm pretty sure when you de-Digivolve, the stats change as well. Anyways, Pokemon can go back and forth between these forms. There's a lot to dig into when this form change phenomenon, as you can see. Well, and we could all learn something from Pokemon here, don't you think? Bit of a stretch, but, you know, we could return to monkey, as they say. Except, by monkey, we mean ape, and with, well, fuck it. I don't know where I was going with that. It's like, would us humans, would we be classified as apes, considering, you know, apes are our closest related species? You know, when you really think about it, aside from, you know, us and apes, there's not a single freaking thing that looks anything like us on Earth. How fucking weird must we look like to any other species on Earth? It's like, you know, we're used to, you know, people, because we're people. You know? But to another species, especially a species that don't see people very often, like, what the fuck is that crazy looking thing? That's freaky, man. Why does it look like that? Anyways, I'd be happy to see you all enjoy your time at Academy of the Diverse and change form into a new version of yourselves. Does that mean I have to come to class with a not new outfit? It's like I come to class and I've just got a freaking Pokemon mask on. But not like, you know, just a face mask, but like a full-on freaking, you know, thing on the heads. Just look like a freaking weird Pikachu or something like that. That would be freaky. Or something like that anyway. Oh, I almost forgot. Regional forms, which vary based on the region a Pokemon came from, don't change like other forms. They're innate. They were a choice made by the developers when they realized instead of creating new Pokemon, they could just give regional variants, and it kind of worked out. It was kind of neat. Oops, that's the bell. I guess I was scatterbrained. Mr. Jacq right up to the very end, huh? I had a great time teaching all of you. I hope you'll do your best on the final exam. And nobody will watch this video, probably. Previous part, which I uploaded a few days ago, still 0 views. This Let's Play's views, how little there were, have become non-existent. Wait, they don't say final on that one either, so you're telling me I was misled? I think Miss Tyme said the next one's gonna be the final. Or maybe she just meant final class before the final exam. I guess that would make sense. Some of them just don't hint at that. Hello everyone, I hope we can have fun once again today for our last class together, before I kill you all. Last time we learned about probability using more actually as an example. Probability is quite an interesting subject. Did you know that in a class with 40 students, there is a 90% chance that 2 of them will have the same birthday? This is true even despite the fact that there are over 300 days each year. Isn't that remarkable? I'm not sure if I ever had the same birthday as anyone in a class I was in. Then again, I don't think that was really like, it's like, okay everyone, introduce yourselves and say your exact birthday. Anyways, but let's move on to today's topic before we get swept along with probability again. You know, speaking of birthday, I guess it did, like, in the ancestry thing I've been doing, there was a school record for one ancestor, and I think it might have listed their date of birth. But more interestingly about this one is because her father had passed away at a pretty young age, which, you know, is tragic, but the way they word it on that in one way was just really weird. Okay, so it's like on one it lists the mother's name. I think it listed the mother's name, yeah it did, but then listed the father as deceased. And then the second one, I guess, like, you know, enrolled in for another year or whatever it was. It also lists the occupation. It listed the occupation on the previous one, which is probably what maybe her mother was working as, so it listed her occupation. But for whatever reason, it chose to list the father's occupation on the second one, despite the fact he was deceased. And you know what it said? Dead. His occupation is dead. It's like, why would you even put that there? It's like, list the pair's name, mother's name, father, deceased, occupation of parent, dead. What the fuck? I've been teaching you all how to calculate damage in this class using examples like type matchups, critical hits, stat boosts, and the like. All of these variables are multiplied together to calculate damage dealt to an opponent. However, did you know that there is an even simpler way to increase the damage of your Pokemon's moves? And you know what another weird thing I find, especially in newspapers? Well, specifically newspapers, especially old ones. I mean, they probably still do it even now, but it's still weird to be worded. It's like the OG, you know? How on YouTube people skim around certain words and themes and all that, so they use a different word in place of it. Because YouTube, I guess, would demonetize them potentially. I don't know. I don't really monetize. I mean, I generally haven't monetized any of my videos in all these years, which is insane. But you know, people who care about that kind of thing and actually do that, obviously they kind of mind their words a bit more. And it feels like that in the newspapers, because instead of saying deceased or dead, it'd be like, was found to be extinct. I'm like, that's an interesting way of seeing it, I guess. It's like, yeah, we found him extinct on the floor. It's like, you mean you found him dead? No, no, no. Don't use the D words. Not even deceased. Deceased, dead, deaf, no. No D words. Use the E word. Extinct. It's like, well, extinct kind of is a bit more extreme, isn't it? When you think of extinct, you think extinction. It's like, that's death of all. Anyways. All you have to do is have your Pokemon use a move it shares a type with. I wasn't paying any attention in class. Can you run that by me again? If a Rock-type Pokemon uses a Rock-type move, Stone Edge, the move's base power is 100. Does not move do recoil damage, I think. It is multiplied by 1.5 to become 150. Ground and Rocks may seem like similar types, but if a Ground-type Pokemon uses Stone Edge, move's power will remain 100. Super effective moves and critical hits also add multipliers on this little numerical increase. Hey, could you also, you know, point out something else? Teach. You know, what if we have a ground rock type? Does it get a boost or not? Because its first typing isn't rock, but its second typing is. Does anything apply to that effect? So its moves certainly must not be taken lightly. Especially because it's a rock, you know. Those are heavy. Let me ask you a question to see if you understand what I'm talking about here. I don't, I wasn't paying attention. Say you have a move with a power of 100. If a Pokemon that shares a type with this move uses it and hits an opponent that is weak to that type, what happens to that move's power? It'd either be 200 or 300, wouldn't it? I forget how much of an increase it is if it's super effective. Maybe 300? You did that calculation all in your head. Well done, Emily May. Yeah, the thing is, like, it isn't gonna be 50. That just seems like too weak of a boost. There's gotta be like 150 or something like that. Unless I'm just not doing the math correctly in my head, but I guess it's right anyway, so it doesn't matter. First, using a move that shares a type of its user multiplies the move's base power of 100 by 1.5, making the power 150. The fact that the opponent is weak to the move's type then doubles that power from 150 to 300. Oh, yeah, that makes sense now. So it's just doubles. 150, 150 to 300. The original power of the move ends up being tripled. Isn't that amazing? What's more, if a Pokemon terrestrializes and its Tera type matches one of its original types, then the bonus it gets for using a move of that same type increases from 1.5 to 2. That makes it super overpowered. Of course, being able to use a lot of moves with different types is great and all. That's one way you can surprise your opponents. And I imagine all of this is completely negated in competitive, you know, battles. Probably. He's like, nope, no terraforms allowed because it's too hacks. And if this game, which I have not noticed to have, you know, like a battle frontier tower or anything like that, it doesn't seem like there's anything like that in this game, surprisingly. But if it did, or if it does and it's just hidden, or maybe it's in the DLC, I imagine they do that there as well. It's like, no terraform allowed. I know we established the terraform stuff and made it like an integral part of the story in some ways, but yeah, forget that shit now. Now that you got all the actual tough battles where that'd be real useful, yeah, you can't use it. Oh, and legendaries, yeah, they're banned. It's like, what's the point of legendaries if you can't use them in the battles where they'd be useful? It's such bullshit. But then if they did allow that, then they would allow the freaking AI teams to also use them, so you'd be doubly fucked. Anyways, in the end, your own innate characteristics are what will really let you shine the most. Bear in mind that this is true for both humans and Pokemon. It sure would make me happy if you could take these words to heart. But I suppose I should really have shared this basic advice right from our first lesson. My apologies. And just like that, class is over. The last of our time together flew by in a blink of an eye. Except not really, because I rambled a lot. It was so much fun to be able to teach all you eager students about numbers. Next class will be our final exam. Be sure to review the material well in preparation. I won't. I'll just have to wing it. And use the previous parts as a reference point. Oh man, I don't know if we can be bothered to do all these classes in one go. How many classes are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 classes, really? I guess we do one more, and then we're out of here and do something else. This is way more time consuming than I thought it'd be. I mean, I knew it'd be time consuming, but I wasn't expecting there to be like 2 classes. Well, 1 class and a final exam left to go for each class. Greetings, my little students. Whatever you did yesterday, it is now a part of history. Not written history unless you got a diary, I suppose. Here's our last class, so I would like to unravel the marvels that history has presented us. One last time. In our last class, I taught you about the Area Zero expedition of 200 years ago, correct? Our last 200 years is not that long ago. Not that long ago at all. Well, yeah, in when you really think about like time itself, yeah, it's not even so much as a freaking grain of sand. It's like I've freaking been able to find ancestors dating back over 200 years. Not as far as 300 years though. Not quite that far. Although, wait a minute. Let me think about that. Okay, so 100 years ago would be 1926. And then 1826 would be 200 years ago, and 1726 would be 300 years ago. So, forget I said that. I actually do have ancestors that I've technically found that were born over 300 years ago, which now that I'm taking that in, I'm like, holy shit, that's insane. So I haven't even found freaking baptism record or anything for them or anything like that. I just know they exist because their name is on this old ass grave. It's like, I only knew about the grave because of the burial record of their grandson. Because looking at the grave, it's all in Welsh, but translated, it's like, this person who died in the 1780s, and his age lines up with him being born in the first decade of the 1700s. Then his son, who was born in the middle of that century, and then his son, who was born towards the end of the 1700s, who died in the mid-1800s. And then under that is his wife, who died like 20 years later. Crazy thing about that is not just how old the grave is, but also the fact that it seems that, you know, the grandfather, the son, the grandson, they all happen to die on the same day. Same day and month, different years. I'm like, Holy shit, that's an eerie freaking coincidence. I guess, you know, the grandson's wife is there to be like, no, it's not a curse there or anything like that. See? I died on a different date. And lived to be much older as well. So it was like 80 something. It's like, yeah, but you know, the point is, you got these 3 names, and it looks like they've all died on the same month and day. Different ages, different years, but still, one eerie coincidence. But yeah, now that I think about it, it's crazy how the oldest one on that one is 300 years old. Like, when they were born. Like, over 300 years ago. Fucking hell, man, that's insane. Anyways. How unfortunate that our history lessons must march so inexorably towards the future. And you know the connection to that is? By my father's side of the family, I was like tracing it. And from it I could tell that this one woman, who was actually born a little over 200 years ago. And crazy thing is, right? She died around about not long after my father's grandmother was born, which is kind of insane to think about. And that's how it kind of relates, basically. It's like, just wild. Over 200 years ago, and then I guess from her perspective it would be that super old one. What would that be? Hey, that's the even crazier thing to think about. It's like, okay, so this woman, this old one born over 300 years ago, I guess would have been her great-grandfather? Only one great? There's a difference of 100 years? Holy shit. That's crazy. Anyway, how unfortunate that our history lessons must march so inexorably forward the future. Would it not be more of an adventure to march towards the past instead? Let's dwell on the past instead of the future. Fuck the future. Start from our present and study history in reverse. Think it would. That might be hard to follow. Fuck the future. Focus on the past. Or at least learn from it so that the future isn't shit. So you agree with me, do you, Emily May? However, I'm afraid I risk incurring the wrath of our dear director if I stray from the curriculum. I suppose I have no choice but to let the flow of time carry us towards the future. We must go with the flow. In this last class of ours, I shall fill your minds with the history of the terrestrial phenomena. The technology behind Tera orbs has its origins in Area Zero. Even after the Area Zero expedition supposedly reached the crater's deepest depths, others continued to explore that area, and around 140 years ago, Pokemon cloaked in mysterious light were discovered there. As you may have already guessed, these were, in fact, terrestrialized Pokemon. However, when those who discovered these Pokemon brought them out of Area Zero, the light faded and the terrestrial phenomenon remained a mystery for quite some time. However, 10 years ago, that might as well be present day, a certain someone you have definitely heard of unraveled this mystery. Ah, perfect timing to make eye contact, young Emily May. Answer me this. What is the name of the famous professor who unraveled the terrestrial phenomenon mystery? It would have been Turo, wouldn't it? Correct. To think that you, a new transfer to our academy, could correctly answer this question. You must be very diligent in your studies. Yeah, I met his cyborg robot clone, and then he, after we battled him twice, and he realized he couldn't shut off the time machine. He's like, you know what? I'll go to the future. It solves both problems. It solves the time machine not being able to shut down while he's around, and it also solves, the problem of him being like, you know what? I want to go on an adventure, so I'm gonna go to the future and see what's up. Then he arrives in the future and it's all apocalyptic. It's like, shit. It's like, well, at least there's still Pokemon around, I guess. Approximately 10 years ago, a professor named Turo unraveled the mystery of the terrestrial phenomenon. He discovered that the shining crystals down in Area Zero, or rather the energy they emit, is what causes Pokemon to crystallize. This led the professor to invent Turo technology and develop a practical use for it. This technology was then shared with both the Pokemon League and our academy. Rumor has it that Director Clavell was one of the researchers on the professor's team. I guess that explains that reaction the director had that one time when the director requested our help when we were, originally got his request when we were in the director's office. And he was like saying to us, couldn't be, you didn't do that, did you? He clearly knew about the time machine. He was on that team, man. He just didn't tell anyone else about it. Because it's like, well, that would ruin the fun. You gotta discover that for yourselves. By, breaking the rules and going into Area Zero. But you saved the world, so I guess that counteracts it. Alas, the story is much less exciting now that someone we all know appears in it. Modern history truly is dull, isn't it? Well, it can be interesting if it's someone you actually know. Not just know as in, yeah, I've read about that person, but it's like, no, you've met that person, or maybe you even relate to that person. Yeah, isn't that interesting? Or maybe it'd be boring if you actually relate to them and be like, yeah. It's just like, it makes it sound so exciting that you did all this, but my god. It's like, especially from Arvin's perspective, he's like, he's kind of a dick, though. He just walked out on us. And then he died. If you haven't been watching this Let's Play chronologically, you're like, that was a huge bloody spoiler, but, we've already gone through the ending. So, if you got to this part of the video, well, I apologize, but I don't think anyone's even going to watch this anyway. But the point is, kind of, Arvin's father, Arvin didn't really get along with his father. His father was a workaholic, focused on the whole, Area Zero stuff. This ends my history classes. Our next session will be our final exam. Bring the wonders of history to the forefront of your minds in preparation. And don't spoil anything, goddammit, even if you've already gone through that part in the Let's Play. You never know, someone could stumble upon it. And be like, shit, I didn't watch that part. I just wanted to see what the classes were like, and I got a huge spoiler out of nowhere. I mean, honestly, if you're watching this for the classes, you probably left ages ago because of all the rambling. So what to do next? That is the question. Well, we'll let Talonflame just kind of have a wander about. Where are you, Talonflame? Go have a wander to your heart's content, take in the sun that is scorching you and possibly giving you cancer. Can birds get cancer? Can Pokemon get cancer? I don't know. I'm just picturing, like, okay, that giant rock crab. If that got cancer, would it be considered ironic? Because, what are they called again? The sign things. But for cancer, it's like a crab, isn't it? I want to confirm something, because I'm not sure if it's actually a thing or not. Because if it is a thing, I want to try that. Yeah, the Titans do apparently respawn once, but how does it work? This lucky bastard found a freaking shiny Donphan while finding one of the Titans. But I freaking came across that bastard and he was stuck in some kind of invisible barrier. So what was up with that? Do I have to throw a Pokeball at it? I don't know. Didn't mean to do that. Before we head on out to find a Titan, potentially, let's see if we can change our luck up a bit. It's like it's always hairstyling. I mean, that's kind of the reason for being here and all, but why even have this as an option? Just be yes or no. It's like, yes, we will dye your hair, but you do that as well anyway. What styles do we have? They're all a bit weird. It's like, our ears really look odd in this hairdo. It's like, the thing is, you know, some of these hairstyles, you know, can be, you know, have hats as well. And the hat could really, you know, enhance a look. But I don't know what ones would actually be compatible with hats. Because I remember, wasn't this the one I started with and it wasn't compatible with hats? Oh, no, it was this one actually. It's amazing what these hairdressers can do, isn't it? You know, how they just casually grow your hair and stuff like that. Should we go with a ponytail? Yeah, why not? Next time the Mona sees us, it's like, are you trying to look like me or what? Hang on, does this negate the ponytail actually? I think it's tucked in the ponytail. It's completely defeated the point of a ponytail. I think I just got ripped off. I no longer have a ponytail. What's up with that? So, we're going back in there to complain to the manager. I asked for a ponytail and now I don't have one. We're doing that again. See what I mean? No, you can't freaking tell. Until it's already too late. I demand a new set of hair. It's like, it looks alright like that, but then it gets covered by a hat. I think this was like the hair that one NPC that came into that battle in the Tera raid thing. It was like, it's not that hair that the model uses. I can't quite tell. Might be. Try that one. Do we not get to have our hair and like we can't wear hats for this one? It's like, why do you put on the freaking ponytail if it takes away the ponytail and you're alright with that? But this one is like, nah, can't do that. And look at it, it's going wild, it's going wild! Wild! Like ears. Whoa. Hats. They could specify on the menu what hairstyles will do that, you know. Kind of ruins the whole thing. I've come in for my third haircut of the day. For 9,000. It's like, can we just not have any hair that actually is long? It's like, just hair that goes at least shoulder length, but no. Can't wear a hat with that kind of hair. It's gotta be short. Let's see how she says this one. Let me see. Do we get a refund if we don't like it? I didn't have a hat on, did I? So, can't tell. Let me see if I can wear a hat. Probably not, right? Oh, I can. Okay. What was our hat we were wearing? It was this, right? I don't know, man, about this hair. How come we can never zoom in on our face so we can get a proper look? I mean, it's as close as we've gotten to our original look, I guess. Well, I know, I got so used to the other look all this time. Feels like we're a different person. So, I got my hair grown. And everyone groans. Ha ha ha. It's not funny, man. We don't get to wear hats a lot around these parts because they discriminate against other people's hairstyles, and that makes me concerned. Anyway, let's go out looking for a Tyme. I think the first Tyme we ever came across was over in this direction, wasn't it? Let's also switch to Venny, because Venny is our designated, you know, well, we're going up against a rock freaking crab. It's not gonna work, is it? Shit. That strategy is already nullified before we've even started.